It's even more interesting. So, as I write this, it's amazing. It's almost as if there's a excessive naivete on my part. See, every time I think I put in the next line that's the saving Almighty God fucking like situation rescuing line, like really at any point in the interaction you think, well, this 1,005,785th text here alone should be the one that changes your mind now. The hell? So at every single juncture, I'm expecting the reply to be, oh my God, you're right. It never is. 80 million times over, it never is. Again and again and again. That's the disease. That's the mental defect of obstinance. She writes back, and amazingly, this is all mind-blowing to what I just wrote, which, again, if you're a normal functioning brain, you would say, yeah, he's right. Honestly, it doesn't sound so great. It's a little, dramatic. Maybe he's a little bit of an enigmatic person, sure. Nothing wrong with that, strictly speaking. He's still, nevertheless, at the end of the day, yeah, like, the mom is being a little unreasonable. Probably is a healthy thing to show the right sense and accommodation. Show the right gesture is your obligation. You're violating the situation because you're not showing the right gesture. You're supposed to gesture towards diplomacy, you idiots. I never agreed to in-person meeting next week. Ooh, we live in cuckoo world, guys. Because beautifully, when you go up to the original text where I was quoting her, she never said, we are going to meet in person. No. She only said things that any reasonable, sane person on earth would necessarily draw that conclusion. Obviously, we're talking about an in-person meeting here. Duh. Then she forgets that it's all sickness, you see. This was your... How dare you have this idea? See, that was your idea for us to meet, right? This was your idea. Even more insane. Here's the delusion. I offered better option for everyone, which is Zoom instead of in person. Better. You box with God, don't you, lady? You box with God himself every day in your own mind. You think you're better. Well, that's what the story of Satan. Satan and his 1/3 portion of angels come down from heaven because they were the ones who thought, I can do it better than God. I'm smarter than that system. I can design one even better than that one. See, let me do it now. That's the difference. And deluded people and deluded forces in the same way will always think my idea is better than the moral one you're putting. They won't even see that as moral. They don't have the lens for morality. They don't see morality actually as a color or as a neural programming. It's not even in the input zone. You're missing it. It's blank. It's like stripped away from your genetics. The only thing you have left is, am I getting it my way or not? It's the only thing you see. It's not good. Serve the objective code, not your thing. The objective code says you're the one who's supposed to bow here. Get it? Not because of my ego alone, but because it's serving the greater ego. Learn to serve the greater ego.
When I'm presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't matter how I look. It doesn't matter where I come from. It doesn't matter what color skin is me. It doesn't matter what job I did. It doesn't matter what bank account I had. All these no veil. One thing only. أتى الله بقلب سليم. Pure, sound, healthy. And what is that? There's so many definitions of the heart that is salim. I will say one statement. A sound heart is that heart that has nothing in it but Allah. Nothing in that heart but Allah. So you're going to tell me, so I don't love my children. No, yes, you love your children, but for Him. So I'm not going to work? Yes, you do. What pleases Him, in the way that pleases Him. So I don't eat? Yes, you do. But it is for Him. I don't get happy? Yes, you get happy. What makes Him happy and pleased? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it in Surah Al-Shu'ara. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. No one will be successful that day unless that person has a heart that is sound and pure. And I think it was Imam Abdul Qadir al-Jilani who said, work on your heart to become like a strainer. Anything you put in it, if that thing is not pleasing to Allah, comes out. And the only thing that stays in it is what please Allah. Al-Qalbu Salim.
You don't get it? Serve the higher. Be the slave to its force. You're bad when you fail to be the correct alignment, in correct alignment with it. I've been telling everybody this every moment of every day since I woke up from that coma. It's the most obvious thing ever. Serve the force or die. In a metaphorical, figurative, but somewhat literal sense too. But in a metaphysical sense, you see. Obviously. Stop being blind and confused. Serving God's will is acting correctly for people. Arguing about whether you're going to be in a Zoom or not a Zoom or not in present for your son who you fucking disrespected isn't the correct thing to do in the substantive sense. That's why this conduct from this woman, this mother, fails the test ultimately, because it makes you feel like fucking shit. It ain't feel, it don't connect. Okay, well, it continues on. And I strongly recommend you to talk to therapist first before we meet in person, see? See, again, this is, again, for the 4-part plus, is going to be a 5th part actually, a compilation series I put up as part of this playlist. Many of the experts, the 50 plus experts now, paint the correct picture of what's going on. This picture is a picture that looks like this. See, first the narcissist mother comes in and scapegoats the problem child. It's not actually a problem, but the narcissistic tendency is to make you the problem because I want to play off of you correctly, well, correct to them, in a way that empowers them in the short term, but not really in the long term, you see, because the whole family's damaged, I'm damaged, the relationship's damaged, and they're damaged in a way that they don't even see. But regardless, the lizard brain of the narcissist brain, the narcissistic person, brings them to treat them like this, and then you see, oh, you see, I agree that you're damaged. See, they want you to agree that you're damaged, because then you see, oh, now I can help you. See, it's all about control. They love control. That's the sickness, the addiction. Loving God is about God, you control completely. I have nothing. I'm your slave. Fucking yeah. Love powerlessness is how you get power. Don't you get it? It's all about the opposite. It's so obvious. It is too early. I strongly recommend you talk to a therapist first. Any normal adult male is sovereign in his decision to decide whether or not he wants to do anything that he wants to or doesn't want to do. So, love other people's autonomy and sovereignty. Be a slave to other people's sovereign boundaries. Then you're a good person and a good human being. And then you are healthily autonomous too, in a way that's respectable. This isn't respectable when you try to force your adult children into your will, you sick lady. That's the lesson you need to learn. So, you see, if I was in a good, healthy family who loved me, and my mom and I were great, that other mom who I never had, it's not this one, that's for sure. I can't even imagine what it would be like to have a good mother-son relationship with this particular human being they call Barbara. But if it was some other Susan out there who was a great mom to me, if Susan were to tell me to go to therapy, I'd say, my God, Susan, I care about what you think so much. You think that? I really take your consideration so much to heart. You're wonderful to me my whole life. And is that what you recommend? Your advice is so highly valuable to me. I'd love to go to try it to honor you and your wisdom. You see that? But because you're acting like a Barbara, you don't get that response, because that's not the response for you. Agreement is for Susan. It's not for Barbara. That's the point you need to understand. Because Susan wasn't a narcissist in that parallel dimension who acted this way. When you love controlled unhealthily, the lesson's for you is to be ripped of control. So I have to do the opposite of what they say, so that you learn how to exist as a parent where people aren't your slaves. You have to be the slave. Then you become powerful. It's all inversion. You need to understand these things. It's obvious. Christ says it in the Bible over and over. If you're humbled, you're exalted. But if you try to exalt yourself, you're humbled. Huh. And he told the parable to those who were invited there at that place that Christ was chilling at, when he saw those who chose the places of the best seats in that particular establishment. And he started to give some advice. When you're invited by a man to the banquet house, don't go seat yourself at the best seat. Because what happens then? What risks do you incur when you sit there? Lest it may be that the host there will appoint a man there who's more honorable than you. The principle being, the most important people sit at the front, and then you go back and back and back. So, and he who invited you and that other person is then going to have to come up to you and say, oh, hey, sorry, you sat too far up. Get up and walk the hell back. How embarrassing and ashamed it will be for you to have to do that, huh? And, oh, that's exactly what he said. And you will be ashamed when you stand and take the last place in the back. But whenever you're invited somewhere, no. Remember, guys, inversion.
Or Princess Candle.
And he who invited you, give the place this. Oh my. But wherever you're invited, seat yourself last. That whenever he who invited you should come up to you and see that you're sitting all the way in the back, he'll say to you, my friend, what the hell are you doing back here? Come up and be seated towards the front, and there shall be the glory to you before all of those who sit with you. When they saw your ass was being taken up in the back, were you real humble? And they brought you up because you were too humble, but that's good for you, because then you're honored as you're brought forwards. Don't put yourself in a situation. It's like Wing Chun in Chinese Wing Chun, the same principles. Okay? It's the Tao, it's the way, it's the harmonization between yin and yang. Don't break the rules, kids. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you have to be brought backwards or be stopped because you threw your weight too much in a way that wasn't merited. Do the opposite. Underplay that people will fill it in for you because of how great you are and love to help you along. So, again, it's all psychopathy, practically speaking, I think. Better option. I told in logic why in person is better, but for her it's better, but she doesn't see objective truth. She only sees better for me, therefore it's better. That's a definition of narcissism. It's the inability to take other people's things into account. You only are capable of thinking about yourself, narcissist. Better for the situation, better for the objective play, better for the God over us is the way I said it. You get that? So therefore, that's the way that we do if you're a responsible custodian of godly living. Don't break the codes. Now, I make it clear. See, it's funny. I never agreed to person meeting. I'll try right back. Hey, lady. I never agreed to a Zoom meeting. Ah, a return to sense, Earth. A return to sense. Beautiful. See? Zoom meeting is the specialty idea. You're not entitled to a Zoom meeting. You are the one who needs to procure the special agreements from people who would otherwise assume a default normal meeting. That's obvious. So I play right back on her. And when people suggest to arrange for something to make explanations, presumably a meeting, I have to explain ABCs to grown people. The default presumption, reasonably of course, is that it is an in-person meeting. Now, not only is that the general case, but in this particular specific, it's even more so. Oh yeah. I indicated to you furthermore that in this particular situation it's even more vital and important to meet in person. And I have to explain, people can have Zoom meetings for class or for business meetings. Zoom is not sufficient for two people who have a conflict between each other, two people with a personal issue. You don't do a Zoom meeting about that. Are you out of your mind? You can't accommodate a proper interpersonal conflict resolution. The probability of effectuating it is decreased when you do that substantially. Don't play like that. It does not work this way. I said twice and then 3 times for the same thing, and 3 times now I'm denied or refused. That is an insult to me. I'm an adult. No. 4 prolonged months of complete estrangement from your son is not too soon. Reality check. Are you psychopathic? Furthermore, did I ever say I want to submit to therapy sessions? No. But I did say that I didn't. Period. Ah, that's it. The man has spoken. Now make it clear. I said I want to speak to your therapist, not to have a session with him. This misunderstanding needs to be clarified. Hey guys, let's take bets. How much you want to bet that the next text back, if there is one, is going to say something again? Oh, but I don't do therapy, huh? It just doesn't end with narcissistic / cluster B personality disorders. So, the misunderstanding needs to be clarified, and so I will be speaking to your therapist once. Now, guys, mistake me if I'm wrong. Up there, I said this already. Once. I said this very clear. I put the letter O, then the letter N, or if I said it that way, or said it, well, I said one time, or that was made clear. There's somebody. It's like a. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's early Alzheimer's, or is it dementia, or is it psychopathic? I think it's a lack of like oxytocin receptors. It's something like this. It's one of those kinds of deals, because none of this is normal. You don't even see it. If you're in it, you don't even see it for the non-normality that it is. You think it is normal to like abuse and control your son. I think everybody today online is uploading new videos now more so than ever about what narcissistic parenting is, scapegoating is, and why more parents today than ever before in human history. That's right, right now. There's more estrangement happening between parents and children than ever before. But here's the real insult to me in the situation. You fucking morons. And 99% of those estrangements, it's the child who does it, and rightly. The child is almost always right when he's the one calling for estrangements, because he's following the Bible. Literally, Jesus says, go estranged from any wrongdoer if they're recklessly offending you, and they won't account for it. Parents only now in this day and age, more so than ever before, have developed the collective psychopathy of, I'm like God, I'm your God, I'm parent, I control, just listen to me. Oh. No, morons. You forgot to be treating adults like adults. The idea is all made men treat each other like made men. Okay, so in the mob, low-level people in life squabble and fight with low-level people in life. They show each other no respect. And moreover, they will do a lot of crazy things that actually a lot of other people look at. It's like, why are you even doing that? You don't even realize how low you look right now. Okay. Well, when you get up in the mafia from a regular level to a made man, now the made man's the highest status person you can be. So if you're not a made man, you can never disrespect a made man. Okay? Now we understand this. Okay, we get the idea. But a made man, of course, could disrespect a non-made man. Okay, we understand that too. But here's the interesting surprise. It's a little surprising for some people, but in intuition, it kind of makes sense. It's actually a much healthier way of being and doing things. Look at the moral code here. So it's as if there's some kind of, it's like a two-tiered system, non-made men and made men. And of course, the made man tier is the higher one above the regular tier mobster. So regular mobsters could squabble with each other and disrespect each other, but you can't disrespect up. But here's the thing. It's not only illegal or immoral or wrong. You could get murdered for this in their system. And well, fine. Okay? So it breaks the law, but in a karmic sense, in a law that's purely your word, or whatever, it's the system. But listen to this. It's not only a violation for a regular mobster to disrespect the made man, it's a violation for anyone to disrespect the made man. Oh, that's interesting, because what are the implications from that? That's right. It's not only that you can't disrespect up the tier, while regular dudes could disrespect each other across. A made man cannot disrespect another made man. So it's not like a made man becomes God in that nobody lower than him could disrespect him, but a made man. See, look right here, for example. I'm gonna live narrate something that's happening right in front of me. I'm in the street, and a woman is moving in front of the man, walking in front of him, and the man is rightly offended, saying, "Hey, why don't you come back? Why don't you come back? Why don't you?" I see it everywhere in this world, and she doesn't even acknowledge him. It's sick. And like 6 times he's yelling at her. See, it's all. This world is sick because you failed to follow the rules. And this woman thinks she's right. I just saw it right now in front of my eyes. You might have picked it up on this microphone. I see, everywhere I look in this world, I see the same patterns. Woman, your man is speaking to you. The fuck you doing? Obviously, he's mad for a reason. He knows he's following his correct idea of what morality is. He doesn't believe, oh, he's equal. She's my equal. She's my business meeting or something. Oh, she didn't reply once to my comeback. I'll let her walk in front of me then. With his head down. He didn't do that. He was like, every yell gets progressively louder because she dared to ignore each subsequent progress. It's insanity. They're all going to kill each other. You don't get it. Follow the rules. Now back to this. It's all everywhere. Because it's not that the made man is the highest status, so he could disrespect whoever he wants. Even the made man has constraints such that no made man in any situation can ever be shown in front of any one other person's eyes as being disrespectable, even by other made men. That's genius. That's correct godly morality. You get it? Highness is not the release, is not you being released from imposition of restriction. With great power comes great responsibility. Stan Lee in Spider-Man was right. Your power isn't that I get to do whatever I want now. It's that I have to do even more. But because of that, we all is what preserves our honor and makes us stay honorable in the sight of the people. People need to understand these things. You understand? So when your son, it's like in a family, like the parents are the made men and the child still is the low-level mobster until he reaches the age of adolescence. Whether that spiritual maturity comes at 12 to 13. All right? And then statutory decisions about when you turn into an adult is for some reason a few years later. You put it at 18 to 21, depending on the jurisdiction. It's a little contradictory, different from the old days, but it doesn't matter. Point is this: spiritually, you receive your bar mitzvah, your confirmations, and your adult status somewhere in between, whether the early part or the late part of your adolescent years. Guess what? You're a made man now too. So it's not, again, made men don't get to disrespect each other within the same sphere. Oh, we're in the same sphere, so we get to disrespect each other. No, idiots. Neither of you can be bad to each other. It's more imposition on you. Lower level mobsters can abuse each other. Higher level mobsters cannot even abuse each other. All right? A made man will be killed for disrespecting another made man. And that's good. Because made men are never disrespectable, not even by other made men. Preserve the right considerations in this life, then you will succeed. So, and then there's other rules about which essence is dominant, yin and yang. My mom went to acupuncture school. Hey, lady, which one is active, which one is passive, yin or yang? Come on, this is basic ABCs. What are you doing? Study traditional Chinese medicine. What are you doing? Should have known all this. Why am I reminding you things you should be knowing this whole time? So I'm going to continue on here. You're not paying close attention. Further, you're not showing the proper deference. I misspelled, but I corrected further down so she knows. The proper deference. You're not yielding, and you're not providing accommodation properly. Go look at the Bible. Until the day you learn to make your conduct fully gracious, which is your only obligation as a woman born onto this earth under God, your job is to be cool and chill. Every woman who's non-chill, such as to piss off other people, is the source of all fucking evil on this earth. Stop it. You will have problems in this life. Now, I told you, as a grown man, that my decision was not to conduct any therapy sessions because I do not want to participate in such a thing before we have discussed all the matters within the sight of a witness who can preserve the findings and convey them himself to a therapist, so that the therapist understands when I show up to somebody and start talking, it's not just my hearsay, is corroborated, verified facts. Oh, she is wrong. We sat and fucking talked about it. The community established the understanding of what the fuck has happened. We know. So we're just giving you the reports of the findings, okay? Get it? And in life, when a man speaks, you know. That's the lesson for you to learn here. That when an adult man says something, it is his position that is unchangeable, and that you as the woman are the one who is to bend and to change according to his fixed position. Water bends and changes its shape in order to fill and flow and accommodate to fill all the spaces. That's why water is water. Earth and stone is earth. It does not change its position. Know your place properly. Do not write to me directly again, because 3 times I've told her what's the correct moral way, but the man is the moral law. You don't come up with the fucking moral law as a woman and then tell me and then subvert my fucking finding of what it actually is. You know why? They do not allow a woman in the godly system to teach or to have authority over or otherwise usurp the authority of a man. Any woman over any man. It's not an exception that the mother over the child, and even when he's even worse when he's a grown man. It's awful. No, fucking purge your brain, rip out the parts until it's gone. Then you have it right now, finally. They suffer not women to teach or to use authority over the men. Be in silence. Be quiet. Be silent. So because 3 times you violated my authority and tried to usurp my commands by putting your fucking twists and refusing my authority, that's called usurping the authority. So you've broken the code of 1 Timothy 2. You will be karmically hurt. The curse is in effect. It's that easy. Do not write to me directly again on these matters. 3 times you deny me, you will not be dealt with by me directly again. You see the punishment? Everything is beautifully in proportion to the thing that you did. So you don't respond to me correctly, now you won't have a chance to respond to me again.
Fellas, using that dress properly, he's gonna have to leave.
Properly?
Jimmy! What's wrong with the way we're dressed?
What's up?
This gentleman ain't dressed right. I asked him to leave.
Is there a problem, man?
Problem is your man here says we're not properly dressed, like our money ain't green. We just want a couple of beers.
A few beers, that's it.
That's it, we'll be on our way. We ain't looking for trouble.
Spoke like a gentleman. Give me the beers. Go ahead.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
You got some brews down here, nice cold ones. Get some nice cold brews. Come on. Two over here, huh? One more over here, one more. All right, brothers, if I may, a toast to our host.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Look at all these ghettos right now.
Hey! Oh, you again, huh?
That wasn't very nice. Now he's got to leave.
I'll tell you when the fuck we leave, all right? Get the fuck away from me.
Go watch the bites, man.
This is still half empty. Shit,
Now you can't leave.
I will never forget the look on their faces. All 8 of them. Their faces dropped. All their courage and strength was drained right from their bodies. They had a reputation for breaking up bars. But they knew that instant they made a fatal mistake. This time they walked into the wrong bar.
That is one of the purest and most correct representations of the godly programming that is back of this matrix running it all. I love that scene. That is correct. Do you get it? They failed to honor the rules of the house when they came in. They petitioned, please, oh, let us do some nice things though anyway. They gave grace back to them in the form of allowing them to stay, and then they usurped and overextended and offended, and then they said, you have to leave. We want to cut this out. No, we won't cut it out. So the last thing is a consequence that is the energetic, perfect converse in placement of the thing you did, that's such that it comes back to you. Always be a perfect vortex bomber of the correct inflection degree to that person who did whatever to you. Do that same in placement thing back to them. Not everyone has that ability today for some reason. People just kind of go, oh, I don't know, oh, I don't know. No, I don't know. Exactly that. Exactly. If I tell you that you have to leave, or you refuse to leave, then now you can't leave.
But,
Get it?
This is gonna be like, you know, Phoebe Waller.
That's the ultimate God law manifested in daily functions and manifestations that come up day to day in every living, breathing moment that we live through. Good. Now, I told you why it was a worse idea to do Zoom. It is in addition to that limitation that is also completely offensive as a separate thing for her to say these things to me in this way. So just to frame it that I'm not worthy to be sat next to. No. It's not too soon for any wrongdoer to be sitting with me. When King Winslow says sit, you sit. Your problem is that you don't treat your son with honor. I am not uncomfortable to sit with directly in order to deal with and address the issues in an adult way, such that you have a moral right to just say, yeah, but I don't want to. And then blind people in today's world will just say, oh no, she just doesn't want to, see, so therefore she doesn't want to, so that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to. No, you're not getting it. You didn't program the brain nodules high enough to see the full resolution picture. You're lacking context. Don't do that. Don't trust yourselves when you have bad thinking. I'm telling you. It happens so much. You really believe yourselves. That's the thing. It's nuts. Our ancestors didn't have Zoom. What the hell they did, you think? Huh? Christ said, send a letter? Use Zoom? No. Did he say, when you argue with your son and he calls you to sit because your own words were reasonably interpreted to call for a meeting, and then create reasons and excuses to not meet to resolve? No. All that shit is anti-God, wow, the big electron. The big electron. If you remember that George Carlin skit. You conform to the big electron. Obviously. Get it? Tells us every day through the crystallization of the universe what the fuck to do. You feel it in your being or you're disconnected. That's it. More GABA B receptors, more correct perception. You don't listen to the oldest male within your family line, you inherit bad karma. Your moral obligation is to sit down with your blood descendant son, who's the oldest male in his family, and sit down with him in good faith. No such thing too soon. Is never too soon. Every breath you're not reconciled with your son, every moment is too late. Frame your reality correctly. You have a mental disorder likely if you can believe such a thing, that it's too soon when it's 4 months, and continuing to feed shit and unnecessary delay and bullshit restrictions that serve only to appease you. When you're the wrongdoer, you don't get appeased. Your job is to lower your head in slavery until you pay the karmic debt off. Be a damn servant in karmic probation until I deem you worthy to be forgiven. That's God. Get it. And your brother, your older brother, by the way, Uncle Christopher, agrees, who I have texted with, that you are sick in the head. Boom.